All right, welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to talk about rear suspension and the ability or the inability, whichever way you want to look at it, to put a different travel rear shock on your mountain bike. If you do put a larger shock in here and you extend the length of this, there are a couple of things that happen. One of them is that whenever you push these 3 points to 180 degrees or past, you're going to cause some real problems with your bike. And the thing about that is that you can see the distance between these 2 points and the distance between these 2 points are vastly different. If I were to increase the travel of this shock by 10 millimeters on this side, it is likely going to drop this point down by 3 times that, because this is about 3 times the distance between this. So that would drop this by 30 millimeters, which would put this, and that point almost at 180 degrees. If that happens, it's basically going to lock out the rear suspension, because the rear suspension is in a straight line. And if you could imagine, whenever you have your pedals at 180 degrees with the ground and you stand on them, it's not as easy to fall in one direction or the other. It's almost like you could just stand on it if you were to balance on it. And this is really the same kind of scenario. If you get this to where when this is pushing, it's in line with this point right here, it's going to lock it out. And even worse, if you were to increase the travel to where this point is actually under the straight line between this point and this point, the rear axle and the pivot, if you ever drop this below that point, what's going to happen is whenever you try to flex your suspension, it's actually going to pull your shock in the opposite direction. It's going to want to travel around this, under this point, this pivot, instead of over the pivot. It's not designed for that, and it could cause some damage. So that's something to really keep in mind before you go putting a larger shock or larger travel shock on your rear suspension, that you really need to keep in mind. If you did go to a larger travel suspension and it doesn't push you past that, what I'm going to call over center of that pivot, then you're probably okay as far as not causing damage, but you may not get the travel that you want anyways, because instead of it having leverage, whenever you're like let's go back to the cranks on your bike again. When you're at 180 degrees level with the ground, that's at the point where you have the most leverage to pull that crank down. The farther that this gets at 90 degrees, the more leverage that this has to push against your shock, which means that you're going to get better travel. As you push this closer to that 180 degrees, even if it doesn't pop past center in the opposite direction, it takes a lot more force to overcome and get kind of around so that it can start flowing well and travel well. So you're going to slow down the initial travel, and then it'll progressively get faster as it gets kind of more at 90 degrees of the pivot, if that makes any sense. The other thing that you can really mess up with this is your bike's geometry. So as we talked about, pushing this below this point or closer to this point, if you drop this point by raising your shock length, by pivoting this down, you're also pivoting your rear axle down. And when you pivot your rear axle down, let's think about that for a moment. You're pushing this wheel down, you're raising your bottom bracket up. So you are reducing your bottom bracket drop. If you're reducing your bottom bracket drop, that means you're raising the center of the bike up, which is happening. You're steepening your head tube angle. You're also steepening your seat tube angle. So those are all things that would that you have to consider and will be happening if you go to a longer travel shock. Now, by how much, I have no clue. I've never done it. So, and it also depends on the bike. You've got different chainstay lengths. You've got, different travel shocks. These are set up differently on almost every bike. It's hard to determine that, but it will affect the way that your bike geometry is set. So that is also something that you really need to consider and think about before you do it. Actually and honestly, I've sitting down and thinking about how I was going to do this video, I was kind of on the fence on whether a person should do this upgrade or downgrade, however you want to talk about it, whether they should swap a shock out for a longer length or not, and what those consequences might be. And I've decided, the more I've thought about it, that it's probably a bad idea. It's going to affect a lot of stuff that is not related to suspension, and probably not in a good way. So take that for what it's worth. At the end of the day, it's your bike. You have to make the decision on what you want to try. And as long as you don't push that pivot under 180 degrees or drop it below these 2 points to where it's wanting to pull the shock apart, as long as you don't get to that point, I think it doesn't hurt to try. If you want to try something, see if you like it, and as long as it doesn't damage the bike. That's what I've got for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I really hope this was helpful. I learned a lot from it just through the research that I had to do. Definitely give me a like if you're into this type of content. If you enjoyed the video, if it was helpful, definitely subscribe. Thank you for watching.